Eric, how you doing
Hey,
today?
how are you? Fitness Guerrillas are back in town.
We're here, and we've got an amazing show today. And today, for the first time, we're going to be including something to look at other than my brother and I, which really is good enough normally. But today, we have a fantastic guest, and I'm not going to say his name yet because we want to set it up.
I'll show
If you've
you
been
what he
back
does.
to a gym,
Yeah.
if you've been back to a gym in the last few weeks, if you were lucky enough to have an open one, you've probably seen anything from every second machine not being able to be used to partitions to screens, restricted amount of people allowed in. It's a pain in the ass. This is clear for everybody. However, if the design is correct, it's going to make a huge difference. Now, today we have the preeminent gym designer pretty much in the world. At least he says so. So do we. And
Let me take it from there. I wanted to start out by thanking everybody. We've gotten so much response from the shows. We've had some unbelievable people come on. As you know, we had Orlando Sanchez, world heavyweight champion, tell us about how he went within 4 years from zero to top hero. We had Craig Pepindona. We had Mark Mastrov, David King. And this coming Friday, we have Tony Damon, incredible story. And when we were speaking to him, he had mentioned that he's already open and he's got some exciting, great news to talk about when he's on Friday. We're going to continue. We have a great lineup of people that you're going to be interested in. And we're looking at the whole scope of what fitness people, wellness people. For instance, on Monday, we have Emma Barry, who's a preeminent boutique spokesperson. She wrote an incredible book. We'll go over opening up a badass boutique, and she knows everything about that world, which I didn't, and I'll go over my personal story about how it's not the same. It's not a small gym. Boutiques are a whole different world. But having been a gym owner, Howie and I, all over the world, we're sensitive to different cultures and different feelings that the people want to have in their clubs. Some countries, Hong Kong, very upscale, but here in America, there is one designer, one architect that, in our opinion, the Fitness Guerrillas, and he's a fitness gorilla for sure.
He's a gorilla. He
stands out. His designs are not a copy of somebody else's. This guy is a leader. He's so far above everything we've seen. Here, we're going to start looking at his pictures while I read his bio. Mr. Cuoco Black. He's a gym brand architect, master fitness facility designer, and design academic. His gym designs and marketing strategies have been featured in dozens of podcast magazines and fitness editorials. He's known for creating innovative new gym concepts inspired by science fiction, Hollywood movies, aerospace, fashion, and fine art. He argues that gym developers must stop building gyms that look like gyms and boutique hotels and start building new gym models that move consumers' eyes onto your brand. Look at that picture.
Unbelievable. Beautiful.
Look at that. And we'll go into why, besides the obvious impact of looking at these. I mean, that's the furthest thing from a gym I've ever seen. And I'm so brand aware and brand conscious that I used to only have proper music that I would have a DJ put on. The music had to be a certain level. And man, if I had this added to our clubs, I can't imagine how far we would have flown above all the competition. Look at those designs. I mean, that doesn't look like a locker room, does it?
No, looks like a yacht.
It emotes feeling, excitement. I'm the best. My club is special. I must be special.
Look
I
at
must
this picture,
do that.
Eric, for a second. You
It's
see that?
floating.
It's a staircase up and down.
Yeah.
Fantastic. That I've never seen.
Yeah. And it's again, there's so many elements to why you want to have this. Well, we've seen the best. Now let's meet the best, Mr. Cuoco Black.
There he is.
There he is.
There he is. Welcome.
Welcome.
Hello. Let's get ready to rumble.
Let's get ready to rumble. That's my dog's name.
We're honored to have you on our show. So thank you so much.
Flattered to be here.
You know, you and I have been talking via LinkedIn and via lots of different ways. And what struck me immediately was the obvious, the designs themselves. But I sensed there was something more than just the design. I sensed a passion from the designer to smash it out of the park, that no one can say it has anything to do with any other look, that you wanted to be totally on your own at the top of the heap, and you wanted to have people that would join you, and then together you would explode their business. That's the sense that I got when I started looking at your fantastic designs.
Yes, thank you. Yes. That was, I don't know, maybe it's the rebel in me. I don't know, a 14-year-old kid growing up in my hometown. I always stood out. I didn't want to, hang out with the kids playing baseball. I just wanted to do artistic things. And when I was 19, I moved to New York City because I wanted to be in the mix with the best. And I sort of always gravitated towards sort of being off the grid. And I was a bodybuilder, and I went to a gym in New York City. And I had already been an academic. I was an interior designer. I went in a gym in Manhattan, and I was training, and I was saying, this gym's terrible. And so I said, maybe I should get into designing gyms. It's about 10 years now or so. But that's got me on the path. And I've spent a lot of time studying the landscape, almost sitting back under the radar. I've spent a lot of time doing what I call competitive analysis. And I think if there's a takeoff point for you guys to jump back in, it's when I'm doing this work with your developers, these developers, what we're doing is it's all competitive analysis. It's not decoration. It's not design. What we do is we study the demographic, and we look at the existing brands that are in the demographic. And from my side, the design side, we study their design, their characteristics, and their features, and it's kind of the starting point from where we start the design. So, back to you guys. That's sort of how I move forward from the beginning.
So when you approach a fitness center owner, gym owner, and so you're telling us that, so when you're hired on as their architect, their designer, you will have already put together a booklet of their competition and shown them why, as you said, it's just not simple designs. It's a brand, it's a concept, it's much deeper than the obvious. You put that together for them.
Yeah, it's just very interesting because I haven't sort of articulated that. In a sense, when I meet a developer, what we do is we study two things. We study their competitors, and I've done an analysis of the fitness industry. And again, this is me, and I cast no aspersions on what other developers or brands are doing when they're building the gyms. But I've sort of been able to categorize the fitness industry into two camps. There's gyms that when you walk in, it's a gym. You either have green AstroTurf and you have the big box lighting. You have the black rubber floor, perhaps with colored speckles, stripe on the wall. You get it. It's generally a gym, rows of treadmills, or a functional training studio, or a CrossFit gym. You're in a gym. Okay, so that's one camp. The other camp are the boutique gyms, the boutique design gyms that look like hotels and restaurants. They're fancy, they're lovely. Again, nice. Again, casting no criticism of the design. But when I meet with a developer, I show them, listen, there's two paths that you can go down, or I'll say three. You can look like a gym, or you can look like a boutique hotel. But it doesn't say anything about your own unique brand, and that's the starting point. And from there, we start to move in a narrative in their minds of wait a minute, I've never seen this way to develop a gym project before. So I tried to get the developers educated on what the industry is doing, A and B, and that advise them they need to move in C, blue ocean, where nobody is doing these kinds of projects.
Right. So from a gym, okay, as a gym owner, when I first see these designs, I am excited because of what you just said. I know my fitness center, whatever, will have that wow factor more than anybody around me. And then here's the crux of it. How do I make more money? I know my ego is going to feel great, and I know my buddies are going to love it. How does that turn in your mind into profits?
Well, it's differentiation and marketing. And I've always said this before, that the developers we're working with, we don't talk really design. We're talking about marketing and differentiation in a marketplace. And what we're trying to do is help developers create these new gym concepts, these new models. And the marketplace is glutted as it is. And so what we're advising them to do is to drop these new concepts into their marketplace and use that as across their social media, their advertising, their website, all their marketing information to differentiate themselves from their competitors. Also, it gives the sales staff something more to work with in the sense of having this unique design, this unique concept for a gym. It also, I think, adds value to the product because it's so differentiated. When potential prospects come into the gym and they walk into the reception area and they haven't seen any gym like this before, it sort of drops their guard. We're trying to seduce the consumer to say, wow, this is different. I haven't seen a gym like this before. And sort of what we call, Eric and I have talked about this, is that this is the loaf of bread. The member walks in, they've never seen anything like this before. Wow, what do you guys do here? Opening up the sales staff's ability to sell with little breadcrumbs from the loaf of bread, the main concept, further into the gym and showing what you do that's differentiated and that the design is different. It's better than the competitors. So that's sort of a hybrid mix of what we're trying to do.
Right. And we talked about this. I mean, so a guest walks into the club or a member, and the first thing that they say is, wow, I want to be part of whoever came up with that idea. I want to be part of that club. It's not something I work out at and leave. I join this kind of a feeling that, I want to be cool. That's why do we need a Black American Express card? Well, don't get anything out of it, but it says something about you. So a guest walks in the club or the member brings the guest and they feel special. Okay. That special turns into being a brand, loyalty. And from there, obviously, members will continue to bring in friends will join, and that's where they get the money. What I would think, well, the owner went ahead and obviously he spent good money on making me feel special. What else does this owner have in mind for me? Obviously, he's going to be great or she's going to be great in service and everything else. If they have a vision to go after that type of a feeling.
It lowers the guard of the prospective member immediately. It's like the most amazing thing they've ever seen. They're willing to listen to your salespeople right away. Fantastic idea.
Cuoco and I were talking a little while ago when I first went to Hong Kong, and honestly, we pre-sold 3,500 members, and about 3,300 members didn't have the faintest idea what they were buying. Okay, but what I said to the staff, now at the time, Life Fitness had the best treadmills, in my opinion. Actually, the best equipment at the time, in my opinion. They had two different types of commercial treadmills. One was the 9300, which was a gorgeous treadmill, the best on the market. It was about $5,000 US. We had 60 treadmills in this club. Then they had the 9500 model. The 9500 model was $2,500 more. So about $130,000-$140,000 plus shipping, 200 grand more. No one knew the difference. I knew the difference. And I had to say to the staff that had no idea, no reference point, hey, no competitor is going to come behind us with better equipment in the world. These are the best treadmills. Those are the best machines. And we are the best. And there's only one best. And that's what we are. And that's what I would feel like if I walked into one of these designs.
Yes, it's interesting because I've talked about this in the past. At one time, you could get away with doing a regular gym, or a boutique gym, but the marketplace, everybody's doing that. Yeah. It's one or the other. And so what's happened is the industry has become more mature, and you could get away at one time with the same programming, the same equipment, the same type of sales staff, same design. But what you're talking about is really pushing a brand to the top of the marketplace. Yeah. And this is now, I think, where what we're doing in my office is, and it starts to become a really important factor, because design has become such a predominant part of the culture. Social media, network television, magazines, on and on. So much design is sort of promoted in the culture. So I think for gym brands that are forward-leaning gym brands, you've got to have all those pieces. The best equipment, my feeling, at least the best you can do, and the best programming, and the best staff, and the best marketing, and the best design. And I think that's sort of right now, after lockdown, that's when all these sort of metrics need to integrate. And I think design, because of social media and sharing on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, so on and so forth, design has now become a really important part of a brand platform.
Right. Howie, you have a good question about that, right?
Yeah, well, Cuoco, most of the people that are watching right now are gym owners, maybe small gym owners. I'm not sure how many big boppers are out there with 30 or 40 locations. A lot of people are struggling with not only maybe these gyms weren't too innovative to begin with, but now because of the COVID-19 restrictions and rules, they're probably even, worse with separations and plexiglass and everything. What could you say? I know this isn't your thing, but what advice can you give these people? How can they at least make these post-lockdown necessities more, more palatable?
Yeah, if they have a limited budget, they've already committed to their budget. Concept. What would you do to make it at least improve so that the returning members feel like, hey, we got something special out of this, and I really want to bring in my friends?
Yeah, I would. There's a couple of ways to look at it, many ways to look at that. What I might consider is what I call the 80-20 rule. You've probably heard of this. It's the Pareto principle. 80% of the effort, investment leads to most of your results. Where I'm going with this is focusing on your
sure that came out right, but
yeah, no, it's like 80. What is it? 80% of your results come from 20% of your investment in the most important areas. So let me rewind that. Let's put it in an analogy as a reception area. Right. I have an argument that gym owners should invest the greater proportion of their budgets in the design and build out of their reception areas, because that's where you make the first impression on the consumer when they come in.
Absolutely.
And so if you have a limited budget, invest most of your budget in your reception area to make a design that when they walk in, the member walks in, the prospect walks in, hey, this is new, this is different, I've never seen it before. And it leads to the breadcrumbs, as we talked before. The remaining amount of the budget you can spread through the rest of the gym, and it can be something as simple as paint. I'm a big advocate of keeping your budgets manageable. You don't need to spend, $400 a square foot on a gym. Some people do that. I think for a reasonable price, you can build a really great reception area. Maybe I'm going to throw some numbers out. Nobody wants to talk numbers. They're afraid to talk numbers. You can go anywhere from $60 to $120 a square foot in your small reception area. And the rest of the gym spend $40, $20, whatever on paint and some simple lighting, as long as you thread the brand through the rest of the gym.
Right.
So so that would be my advice. Focus on the reception area and don't worry about spending money across the full gym. Start there.
So now that you're relaxed about the money thing, right? I'm sorry, were you saying something, Howie? I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, we're cross talking for a minute. You go ahead because.
Okay. So now that you're relaxed about the money, how expensive is it to not have you a designer? I know, kind of turn that around on you. I just put myself in the position. I just opened up a fitness center, and I think I'm great. And then someone comes along right next to me, and they have you as their architect designer.
Uh-oh.
And I am just like, oh my.
Or a spite store.
Right.
I've seen it. I've seen it.
I'm sure. But okay, back to my real question. My real question is, how expensive, if I want to have you do my club, what's the range and what fantastic, never before, never to be offered again, special can you offer the Fitness Guerrillas audience to get started with Mr. Black?
Yeah, there's a song by a group, I think it was AC/DC. It said "Fade to Black." What I'm going to do is I'm going to offer something to the community. You'll notice if you follow me on Instagram, I'm at Gym Designer. I'm plugging myself there. But the reason I'm doing that is I want you to see visuals that you can cue in on. You'll notice that most of the images on my that I show to people are in the reception area. So I have an offer where I think people should consider. I'm thinking of helping developers with an intro to working with me. And that could be something as little as $25,000 to do just the gym reception area. Focus on that space. We can work with your budget. It's sort of an intro to get to see what I call next generation of gym design that we're doing.
And how much would it normally be, like before?
We get 50 up to 6 figures, depending on what we're doing in the clubs. But that's an intro price. That's at least half for what we do.
Well, anyone that's listening out there and hear what he just said, do it now before the doors open or in the first few weeks of opening. Show everybody how you've gone nuts and upgraded beyond their wildest dreams. $25,000 for a 60,000 plus reception area. Do it. How would they do it? How would they contact you?
As I said, well, they can contact me through you. I mean, you guys have actually access to your network more than I do. So, they're welcome to do that. Again, on Instagram, I'm on Gym Designer, but I don't want to plug myself too much. I want to help your listeners.
I'm looking at your Instagram right now. And
yeah,
I'm looking at your Instagram right now, Cuoco.
Yeah, there's like 5,000 pictures of like, woo, you look at the pictures like, whoa, stuff. What is this?
But I have to say, I really like your last posting the most. I don't know why.
I don't even know what it is. The last post. Yeah. I'm not sure what it is.
The point is, let's talk numbers a little bit more for your listeners.
That's important.
I've worked with some architects, collaborated with owners, developers, and numbers go all over the place. So I'll give you my opinion. We can raise the bar or lower the bar on your build out cost. You come to us, you say, listen, we only want to spend so much a square foot. We can help you make an awesome reception area for whatever square foot budget you have, if it's reasonable. But if you want to create something that I believe is really like why we're having this show, you need to be between $75 and $125 a square foot in your reception area. And again, what if it's 600 square feet? You know, you're not talking a large investment.
Right.
So I think those are reasonable numbers. I have people talking to me. They come with $10 a square foot. I said, that's silly. You can't do that. And then some developers have said, oh, I spent $400 a square foot. So I like to talk the numbers because everybody's afraid to talk about the numbers. Now you have some benchmarks to work from. So we can increase the design. If you want to do a more elaborate design, we can increase the budget. We can reduce the budget. We can move the design up or down. So we can frame it. The end result will be one of those up there, or one of the things that you've been showing your followers.
Well, as I said, my next club, will definitely have your designs through the reception. When I can open up the door of my club, just crack it open, or anyone else's club, and I'll tell you what's happening. I'll tell you the whole scope, how excited the team is, cleanliness, the whole works. But I've never been able to open up, crack the door open and see a design like that. That would really excite me.
Yeah, I've had some of the owners call me and say, one owner, the owner of Trainer Space, he said when people walked into Trainer Space, he said their jaws dropped. He said that they felt like they were, at the top of a roller coaster, ready to go over the end. One of the other developers said his client walked in, this prospect walked in. I like this story. And the guy said, I heard about your gym. He says, this is like a spaceship. I've never been in a place like this. I'm sort of paraphrasing what they told me. And the owner of the gym said, listen, you go look at all my competitors, and after you've done your tour of the other clubs, please free to come back. And that didn't happen. The guy knew he was in a place where, that was bravado from the owner. And I've seen it. I mean, the developers that we're working with, they drop some of these types of gyms into their demographic. How do you compete against something like that? There's nothing like it in the demographic. And so let me add, when you drop a product, a gym like this into a marketplace, where do their members come from? I know where the members come, and you know where the members come from with these new gyms. They come from the competitors.
Of course.
What they do is, you've heard of ROI and you heard of attrition. Where these new gyms come in, their members are coming from the gyms that are in the marketplace that are losing members to this new brand, this new concept.
Yeah, and we know that basically on every corner in America now, you have at least 2 or 3 economic price clubs, maybe one high end, a Pilates, a yoga, 4 or 5 other different types, boxing, whatever. And how do you make a difference? This is the easiest way, actually. This is probably the easiest way to separate yourself from the rest.
Along with
Howie, I mean, what do you think? I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, of course, when you've produced this beautiful design, you still have to promote it so people actually know about it enough to come and see it. Now, obviously, word of mouth will be something, but that's something I'm interested in. How have the people been promoting their new clubs using, with your designs? What are some of the great campaigns you've seen that they've done to really augment what you've done already?
Yeah, one of the owners, I'm going to add something else, and we don't talk about this. These types of gyms create viral word of mouth, both across the internet and editorial. The Trainer Space gym was on local ESPN, all the local newspapers, magazines. So there's a lot of sort of collateral editorial that comes in the marketplace with these kinds of gyms. And I've said this before, I believe of what we're doing, my office is doing, is less decoration and design and more marketing. It's about marketplace positioning. And so it really has to, and this is the kind of the struggle I have with a lot of developers that call me. They don't understand the marketing. They're just looking for some colors and they want to look nice. You know, they're kicking tires. They're looking for a price. They've seen or heard of what we do. But when I talk marketing, a lot of time it goes over their heads. They don't understand that the design is a marketing tool. And it helps amplify your brand in the marketplace. But you've got to be good on your social media. You got to be really aggressive. Look at on Instagram. I have over 5,000 photos on Instagram. I have gym owners that come to me and developers. They got 200-300 posts on Instagram. Man, you got to be like Gary Vaynerchuk. If you know Gary Vaynerchuk, you got to hit it. And so, you know, this is really about stepping up your marketing game. And the design is only part of that whole platform. So I really suggest that the developers, if you're not good at it, get a PR company, hire a Madison Avenue firm, get a local, I don't know, hire a kid from school, but get on your marketing because, you know, now you're with phones in your hands and the internet, you need to really be marketing on social media.
Well, Howie and I, and you also on your LinkedIn, we've been so bullish on the reopening of this nightmare that we've been through, and thinking that this isn't a fad. The industry is here, getting stronger every day, and we felt that this was going to be greater than January 1st, New Year's resolution, and in fact, that's happening all through Asia. The new member sales are greater than they've ever been. They're at about 80-85% capacity. Wow. On Friday, this week we have Tony Damon, who owns 40 clubs in Texas and in Nebraska. And he says his new member sales are the best he's ever had. And but he's back to about 40 or 50% capacity. What trends do you see in the next 3 to 6 months? What do you see happening from your point of view?
Well, the industry is slow in the sense of adopting, new ideas. And I think what's going to happen the first 6 months is the dust is going to settle and we'll get to some place. We'll get to some flat line with the industry. And again, one of the challenges I have is to get the developers to understand that there's an opportunity here. Everybody's saying, oh, it's gloom and doom. No, there's an opportunity here. And the opportunity is consumers have been tied up in their homes. They've been dealing with online fitness, which is okay, but they've been in the house and they want to come back to the gym. And we see it everywhere. Everybody's saying it's no reason to deny it. And I think you have an opportunity. And I've said this earlier that there's a blue ocean. A blue ocean meaning there's opportunity. There's not a lot of scrums. SCRUM. Not a lot of scrum. There's not a lot of opportunity for doing something different. And I think this is the opportunity where gym owners need to start doing something different. I'm going to give you a good story. I use this story a lot. Guy Kawasaki was tech evangelist for Apple. You probably know, you may or may not know him, but he was tech evangelist for Apple. He worked for Steve Jobs twice, and he talks about design. He said design matters. And he tells a story about the MP3 player. So the MP3 player was the first version of a digital handheld music device. And there were a lot of consumers there were a lot of manufacturers that were vying for that marketplace. There was Sony and Motorola and Ericsson, and they were all making these MP3 players. So around 2009, I think Apple came out with the iPod, which is that skinny, metallic, anodized, beautiful aluminum little MP3 player version. And they dropped that into the marketplace. And within, I don't know how many more years, the MP3 players evaporated from the marketplace, went onto eBay, and the iPod had $70 billion in market share. Okay, 70, whatever that was. So the analogy as gym owners, why are you still doing MP3 players? You need to be doing iPods, meaning now is the time as using design as an important tool to separate yourself from your competitors. And it matters. He said design matters. design is important, and Apple invests in design. Hello, look at their products. So this is the same thing for me. I'm just adopting that marketing mindset for creating this beautiful product, this beautiful package that people see it. Wow, I want to be part of what you said, Howie. I'm sorry, Eric, about being part of that little group, that brand. I want to be part of
that special club. And it's just, and what we talked about before. I mean, if I'm a gym owner and I've been shut, I'm concerned about tomorrow, even though I am not, the things that I would do, number one, I'd promote with everything I possibly have. I take all my best marketing, all my best promotion. And Howie and I talk about that on our webinar next week in our masterclass. Let's take out the biggest weapons we possibly have now. This is January 1st on steroids times 10. And if I could upgrade my club with a new reception that's going to blow somebody's mind, I would do that hand in hand.
No question.
I catapult ahead of everybody. Everyone's going after the same thing, but not if you look like that, not if you market like that. It's not a time to be cautious. It's not a time to spend all of your brain power on cleanliness. Of course, we've all talked about ad nauseum. We know it has to be cleaner than clean. We know we have to follow all the rules. Okay, of course we do that. We don't have to talk about that anymore. But let's go after getting the money back. What happened the last 3 months? We need to get the money back. We need to thrive. Change your designs. Go after it with everything you got. Make your team excited. Can you imagine what your team's going to feel like with that type of reception or upgrade, whatever, as well as all the people coming in from the promotions that you're doing? Light it on fire. This is an opportunity we've never had in the fitness industry. Go for it. That's what I say.
I suggest that everybody listening to this go to Cuoco's Instagram page, have a scroll through it, and you'll be amazed. And it'll give you some ideas, and maybe you'll contact him because these things are amazing. I mean,
there's no time to wait.
Star Wars Part 12.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Now's the time we got to do it.
Yeah.
There's another guy, who I think is an interesting character as a salesperson is Grant Cardone. I don't know if you know.
Yeah, I met him. My friend, who I'm going to talk about in a minute, Bill Zanker, puts on his shows, and I was at a 12,000 person event in Las Vegas. I think the average person paid about $1,000 for various depths of how.
I was going to go to that. I couldn't do that. I remember that one.
Unbelievable.
The point with Grant Cardone talked a really good story. He had the story, and I heard this years ago. He said he was racing down the turnpike in his car, and everybody was behind him, and the cops pulled him over. And the cop says, why are you driving so fast? And he goes, I don't want to be like everybody behind me. I want to be out front. Obviously, the moral of the story is what you're saying, Eric and Howie, is you got to be out front. You win on offense. And so if you build a gym that looks like another gym or another hotel, yeah, hey, it's great. It's nice. It works. But if you want to be out front, you got to jump the curve. Again, Guy Kawasaki said this. He says, we 10x it. I think he called it 10x it. Grant Cardone talks about 10x too. And 10xing is jumping over what all your competitors do. And so I have this expression I use in the fitness industry. A lot of my posts, I call it better sameness. And that you can't be better sameness. If you build a gym that looks like a gym, or you build a gym that looks like a boutique hotel, you're better sameness. You're doing what everybody else does. You might do a little bit different lighting or different flooring or different furniture, but you're still the same. You get the point.
Sure. And gym owners, we're not designers. That's not our specialty. Hopefully you understand what it's supposed to look like or could look like. So imagine a guest walks in, sees a killer design. First thing they think of is this owner here is a leader. He's going to have other things that I also have to involve myself with. If he has a new type of training and I got to pay for that, or he has a new type of course I got to pay for. I want to be involved in that. This cat I want to follow because he is a leader versus, oh, it's another one of those. Okay, I'll have a good workout and leave. Hey, they spend 2 hours a day there. They see everything. Make it special. Now's the time to do it. Right now. Right now. So I mean, we've been all hit with the media in every terrible way in these last few months, and it's still not coming back the way it's supposed to. My good friend sent me just yesterday from Bloomberg. The fitness industry is going to lose $10 billion in member revenue. And the bottom line is if the clubs around the world had their normal attrition ratio factored in those 3 or 4 months, it would be way more than 10 billion. So what I'm saying is, and you alluded to it on one of my favorite rants on LinkedIn of all time, yours, Cuoco, is forget about the negative. That's over. 90% of it was BS anyway. No time to take your time. You got to freak out right now. Do everything in your power to triple the money that you've ever made. Fix up your club with something wild. Go for it. When they come back, they're going to freak out. Hit them with everything you got. Make this nightmare into the greatest dream for now and for long term. And when you get the extra monies, fix up your other club or the back of your club or whatever. Get it done now. Get the money back now. Do it.
It's a thrill to see these designs. It'll thrill everybody.
I say that when I meet with developers, I'm not thinking about what I'm like what we call B2B. I'm thinking B2C. I'm thinking about the developers' members, target demographic. And I say to them, I said, you need to be thinking like Disney and Elon Musk, and you need to be thinking like Apple, okay? And you need to be AAA player. Otherwise, again, back to better sameness. And so you win on offense. And, if you want to get the PR, you want to get the editorial, you want to get the staff excited because you want your staff to feel empowered. Give them the tools. Exactly. And again, as I said, it's all of it now. At one time, design wasn't that important, but now it's important. So it's interior design and it's marketing and programming and staff. Uniforms. Everybody's doing nothing interesting in uniforms. Right. Stay tuned because I'm working with some brands and we're doing some seriously cool uniforms.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because gym look has been the same since Jack LaLanne. It's ugly. I mean, even Lululemon, which is, gigantic company, and they have the great material and they're wonderful. And, everyone has 7 or 8 key pieces from them. So what? Like, can they not do better than that? You go to the men's section, they got 3 pairs of fallout shelter looking shorts. Nothing happening. No one has done anything to rock the world in the entire fitness design for clothing, for uniforms. It's just, it ain't there.
Yeah. Well, I said that. I said the industry sort of lags behind the rest of commerce. So, but you know what? There's, a lot of the people that I'm meeting are new people coming in from outside the industry. So they're going to displace these new brands. These new guys that I'm talking with are coming into the industry are going to displace the people who are holding on to what they've been doing. And so, one of the things I'm going to make I'm going a little bit sideways. One of the things I'm going to advise, we talked a little bit about trends, is one of the things I'm going to advise your followers, your listeners to do is, where do you get your ideas from your gym design? I mean, do you look at your competitors' gyms and say, okay, well, we're going to do better than that? Or do you go and look on pictures on the internet? And then everybody, for example, now is, okay, you're going to hire this gym design firm and they do gym designs, and so the gyms look like gyms, or they hire a hospitality design firm. And again, I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but I'm showing you how that trajectory of what we've got, this death spiral of better sameness. Developers hire a design firm, designs hotels and restaurants and condominiums. Well, what's the gym going to look like? It's going to look like that. So here's a big, and this is about trends. So the point I'm making is, gym developers, is to change your mindset and not follow the pack. Get off the grid and start to have your own sort of critical thinking about what a gym could be. And I talk about this. I say this all the time, and I blog about this. This is important. Your developers, your objective is, my opinion, is to shift the fitness consumer's perception of what a gym could be, to shift their perception. If they walk in and it's another gym or it's a boutique hotel, you've just done better sameness. But if it's something they've never seen before, now you're setting them up for the sale and the close.
I tell you what, if I had my club, and my club is a great club, it's a wonderful club, I got the right of everything, and I'm charging $49 a month, and I have, let's say, 2,000 members-ish that are on that, and I go ahead and spend 25, 30 grand on that type of reception, that type of feeling, I'm going to bump my dues up to $69 and push it, and I'm going to get it. And now I've 10x, as you said, I hate saying that myself, but 10x'd it, and here I am. I've made a difference. And so to any fitness center person out there right now that's saying, well, I'm a little bit late because I'm going to be opening up my doors in 2 or 3 weeks. This is what I do. I contact Cuoco. I get his designs, and I put them all over my room, my walls. I put them everywhere, say coming soon. And that would be the thing that would turn on my staff, turn on the new members, the guests. I get the designs up, and I'd follow through with it. And I would have this as a brand new beginning in the fitness world, my fitness world and your fitness world. Make it happen now. Don't wait. I don't want to hear about a couple months from now. Well, we should have, whatever. January 1st is coming this week, next week, the week after. Do it now. Get it done now. Howie, any further thoughts or questions?
No, I'm still thinking about the last few things. No, it's fantastic. I agree with that, what Eric just said, because people tend to be so procrastinating all the time, and this is no time to procrastinate.
It's a new time.
Make your mark now.
We actually have the best opportunity ever in the fitness industry. And as you mentioned, the online stuff, that's wonderful. It's a great adjunct to this. It has nothing to do with why people join clubs. People join clubs to be friends, touch and feel and be proud. The stickiness comes from the loyalty to the feeling they get when they come to the club. How you doing, Eric? Nice to see you. That type of feeling, and knowing everybody, feeling it, thinking everybody's great, and following that excitement, that passion. That's what people want, and they don't get it by doing online in their laundry room, which I've seen. I've seen.
I've seen that too. I've seen the laundry baskets and the cats, and you know what? I think there's going to be a blend. Online is still with us. I think there's a lot of good out of that. But I don't want to digress because it's not my strength. There's good people who know the online game. What I want to try to keep helping your listeners to do is to get them to stop thinking what they've been thinking or doing these past 20 years. Like you said, Jack LaLanne. There's still gyms that look like Jack LaLanne. There's still gyms that put a stripe on the wall or motivational slogans. And I don't mean this negatively or graffiti. And that's all good. But if you want to win, you got to be out in front, And here's a perfect example of design trends. Everybody at one time, colored lighting in the gym workout area was like really innovative. I think David Barton was sort of kind of led the pack on that. And it was really an innovative thing. And now everybody is putting colored lighting in their gym and calling it, that's they're maxing at that. Everybody's doing that. Be careful that you aren't seduced into doing design trends. So if you've seen it before, it's a trend. If other competitors are doing it, you see it everywhere. And you know what? On the internet, on Instagram, on Facebook, globally, it's everywhere. Within seconds, one post, one tweet of a design trend, and it's everywhere. And you notice people are picking it up. You'll see the same hanging bags with the colored line. And I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm saying if you want to be that guy, like I said, like Disney and Elon Musk, and like you guys were in Asia, and all these guys, you gotta be out front, and you can't be doing what everybody's doing. And you know what? If you do, that's fine. You'll do your best at it. But it kind of depends on that A player sort of mentality. Is like, am I gonna be the guy carving the future and the path? And I think people are attracted to the people who are A players. So
you're right. And by the way, I hope the SpaceX went great. That was 20 minutes ago.
No, it's canceled till Saturday.
It was canceled,
till Saturday. Yeah, I just saw that.
Oh, so sorry about that. But the fitness owners that I know, Cuoco, every one of them, they all feel that their fitness center is a part of them. I don't know any of them that don't feel like they're going 100%. I've gotten to know so many. I love them, and I'm just so excited to try to help them just with a no-brainer. I mean, we spend so much time on everything in our clubs. We bust our butts trying to make our clubs better, and we do. But if this is an easy way to really bump it up. And going back to the online stuff, my point was, I've seen some online stuff that has taken place in laundry rooms, and I've also seen some phenomenal stuff. A client of mine from Dubai, I'm going to have him on the show. His name is Stuart. He created this app where you can hire a personal trainer, a Group X, from anywhere in the world 24/7. And it is gorgeous, the whole concept. I'm going to have him on, and that's going to show you what the standard could be online. So I'm not against that. That's definitely the way we're going as an adjunct to what we're doing, never to replace what we've already invested in. It's just a great way even to improve our attrition ratio, where they can still stay in touch with us. But make sure it follows your brand. Make sure you don't go to the laundromat from your beautiful club. Have that balance, do the best you can. Find the best one you can.
Yeah, firing on all 12 cylinders.
Absolutely. So it's about an hour, and what can I say? As far as I've ever seen, you're the best of the best. You're a fitness gorilla. Thank you so much, Cuoco, for coming in. Anyone that wants to buy that design at whatever price, $25,000, whatever, contact the Fitness Guerrillas or Cuoco Black himself and get it done, and tell us how your sales have increased and what your members were saying about it.
Definitely want to hear about that. And everyone can go immediately to Gym Designer on Instagram, and you'll be blown away. Unbelievable stuff.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
bye-bye.
It's marketing. End of story.
That's right.
All right.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
See ya. Wow, he's got some amazing stuff. Amazing.
He's not a little bit different. He's all the way different. I remember seeing, some great clubs innovative. Crunch was an innovator in New York when it came out. My friends have probably the preeminent boxing full body workout club in New York City called Grit, 5,000 square feet. I think they spent a few $1 million because they wanted to have the greatest sound light experience, and they have been sold out. I mean, obviously they're closed, but before they were closed, you couldn't get into any of their class. And you say, why would someone spend that kind of money? Because those people, Bill Zanker, Tony Robbins, Pitbull, Chris Murray, they wanted the best. And if you don't have a few $1 million, I get that. But if you got a little bit extra and you want to make it happen, do two things. Hit every promotion you've ever come up with now. Get a design. If you can't afford Cuoco, do something. Make it a reopening that people will die over and make the money that you've lost. Get it back now. Come on. Positive right now. Now's the time.
Now's the time, and we're almost through with our time, and we'll be announcing our new webinar and our masterclass in a short while. So
And Friday,
we have on Friday, Eric. Let's tell everybody to tune in on Friday. Who's that?
Yeah, on Friday, Tony Damon, a friend of mine, I've known him for almost 29 years. He's going to take us from when he was fired by my mentor and the founder of the fitness industry, Ray Wilson. So many of our guests will have started with Ray or have been mentored by Ray or Mark Mastro, one of the two. He's going to tell you how he was when he was fired by Ray at 21 and ended up now he sold most of his club or half of his clubs for 8 figures plus. That's all he'll say. And I know it's a lot more than that. 40 locations. How many staff did he say he has? Like 10,000?
1,400.
1,400.
I think so, yeah.
No, more than that. Now he's got 40 clubs.
No,
Anyway, a success story from zero to hero, step by step, how this guy, Tony Damon, made it and how he felt when he was on the bottom, when he got fired, how he fought back, how he feels now, and some tips on where you may be, how to get you back to the top of the top. And you're going to love that. That's this Friday. We're going to continue to bring in great guests, just like Mr. Black. And again, thank you for all your great comments. We just love them. And we're happy that you're happy with our show. So until Friday, thank you for listening and visiting us.
Be a gorilla. Watch the gorillas.
Bye, Howie. Bye, everybody.
Bye.